The story of the name of Hydra, which is a question I get a lot of times, is it was really by accident in some ways. I'm not a huge Greek mythology fan, but coincidentally came across the word when doing some branding search and looking at names and options for trying to come up with something creative but yet representative of what I believe to be a challenge in healthcare. And by definition, Hydra is a regenerative water serpent. Metaphorically speaking, Hydra represents the same in healthcare, in that changes, challenges, and communication never seem to stop, even when you had a plan in place to handle it. So that water serpent that gets a limb cut off and regenerates that limb only to continue to grow stronger, I believe is very representative of some of the same things that we face in healthcare. The daily challenges in handling the quality of care for a patient, to authorizations, scheduling, managing processes and people. And so when we look at Hydra, Hydra is focused on optimizing that referral intake, authorization, scheduling loop with decisions. And it's based on the performance of all those quote unquote limbs over time. In this case, those limbs being really all of the stakeholders involved in getting a patient into care, including the patient themselves. And so when we look at that span of control among many different players, it can become very challenging to think about some of the predictive analytics about how we handle that workflow. And what we've done with Hydra is put a lot of hours and thought and consideration behind how each one of those individuals affect that workflow. We've quantified it, put it into an algorithm, built a machine learning model, continue to improve itself, and we now are generating decisions, not analytics, not data to make decisions with, but literally the decisions for the non-clinical components of the patient workflow. Something that's becoming quite regularity, I guess you could say, in healthcare is that point of care clinical decision support to help physicians and other clinicians make those decisions about patient care in the moment. Hydra is taking that same decision support approach and taking it to the non-clinical aspects, an area that we believe many of the current software providers out there aren't doing. So we built our tool as an enhancement around those products. That way we can minimize the disruption to your standard operating procedures, minimize the disruption to all of the effort and time you've already spent in putting an EHR in place or what other process you might have for managing your patient database.